Ain't nobody paying attention to, man. These people the people in the world, we'll say it like that. People in the world, give two fucks about what we got going on.
Yeah, but
but somewhere they do care.
Yeah, because you know what? We owe it. We owe it.
To the Most High. We are servants. We owe it to.
Yeah, man, you know what? They got a standoff in Kansas City right now because they say 3 police officers being shot, but I'm almost willing to bet, man, that they've been shot by some children.
Yeah.
What's the age group of those kids out there in Colorado that's shooting each other?
They from the teenagers from 12 to 20, about 21, 12 to 21.
Man, listen, man.
Going down.
If you live to be 21 now, it used to be you'll be dead by the time you're 21. Now, if you make it to 21, you know what I'm saying? You got a great chance at a great productive life. Because man, these kids out here killing. They killing, man, and they starting off at 11 and 12.
Well,
you know, 11 and 12 and 13 years old.
You know, the games they got access to, like, listen to me now. You know, I don't raise my boys in this area. So, I just hope they keep a clear mind about the decisions they make. But the games they playing, man, you got games that come on in the title scene to tell you that it's demon software. Man. And all it is when you get in there, you killing. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, it's they killing, man. They killing.
And now they got access to these things, you know what I'm saying, with ease. So
I'm trying to figure out how they get access to these weapons. Where they getting the money from? You know, because you're talking, like I said, you're talking about children. Then you're looking at this, man. Let's just be real. Okay, let's put the Bible down for a minute. Just look at real life. We know that we come with the scripture at any given minute to substantiate what we're saying. But let's just deal with real life for a minute.
I know. That's what we do.
You know, I used to work in the public school system, right?
All right.
And almost every kid, I'd probably say about 65% of 100% of the children that's in grade school is being diagnosed with ADHD and on some form of medication.
Right.
I've seen it for myself. I
got something to add to that. Like the game, when you watch them kids play this game, man, you know it's tailored to them because it enhances their ADHD. It's like they know what the fuck they doing, but you don't know what the fuck they doing. You understand what I'm saying? But you can see it on the screen, like, what the hell?
Man, it's crazy. So when you look at you take the children who been on these prescription drugs throughout the course of their childhood, and then they ain't even getting into their teenage years. By the time they get into 7th and 8th,
teenagers, they smoking weed and doing all this shit.
Hey man, and then look, the weed done been legalized, alcohol. Then you put them in a car. That's a recipe for disaster right there. Then you got all this other stuff.
Right.
And then as soon as they crash into you, they're gonna keep going.
Right.
Or be ready to kill you.
Right.
Because they tore your car up.
Right. They don't know how to be accountable or responsible.
But see, the thing is that it's not so much as, they don't know, but see, the responsibility ain't theirs. The responsibility is the parents. Because how you going to be a parent, and then you're going to allow somebody that don't know you, don't know your family, don't know nothing about your child, to diagnose your child with something, and then you sign waivers and agree to allow them to put your kids on prescription medication.
Right. There ain't no way you're supposed to allow that to happen. You're supposed to second guess and question everything that you're told at this point.
See, and that's
us knowing this, though. That's us knowing this, though.
And we got a habit of trying to escape the responsibility. You see? Because these little kids out here, man, is killing each other like that. These are somebody's children.
That's right.
And in most cases, let the truth be told, they're single parent homes.
That's
and they're up under a mother. And so you have to ask yourself, well, damn, where the mama at? We already know where the daddy at. Probably locked up in jail somewhere.
Man, the mama at work, but then when she get home from work, she caught up into the housewives and anything that help her relax. At the same time, still trying to maintain the household. So it's a double job that she's working on.
It is, man. It is, man. And then you know what? And then when we got to pull out black suits and go to the funeral, and you see these sisters literally ripped to shreds and tore up behind their children.
They did the best they could.
See,
you know.
But see, at some point,
I know.
At some point, we have to start making people think about the enemy that they don't see. This system has been set up deliberately. It's been set up deliberately for that. You know what I mean?
Destroy you.
Yeah.
Hey, the same thing you looking at the television. You know what I'm saying? In this hour, it's the same thing we talking to each other on. You know what I mean? They look the exact same. It's just a smaller size.
Man, I just pulled up at the gas station a little while ago to get me some gas, right? This car in front of me. The door's open. But this rot gut stuff that ain't music that's playing.
Right.
Is fueling the minds of people.
Right.
And these cats, they looking like they got attitudes at anything. I don't even look at them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I try to avoid them.
And you know what? I don't even look at them. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. God knows I don't ever want to bring harm to none of my brothers, but knowing the mentality right now, I keep my pistol in my pocket at all times.
I know where you at.
Man, when it come down to dealing with these kids and these young cats, I ain't giving no second chances.
No, it's over.
It ain't no second chances. You ain't coming back to shoot up my house. You ain't laying in the bushes.
That's
you know what? Right out the gate, the minute of confrontation, you know what I'm saying? Then they might as well call the ambulance and pronounce this one. Because, man, this ain't the hour for that, man. But it's like, man, at some point, people got to start thinking, especially our sisters. Since our sisters are responsible for these children, they need to start thinking and understanding, hey, you know what? You don't let no public educational system diagnose.
It's hard for them, though, King. It's hard for them because
but they got some responsibility. They got some responsibility though, because you determine whether or not somebody put your kid on medication.
That's what I'm saying, but then it's a check that come with that medication, man. So you got to always know they looking for the bigger, better deal all the time. So that's why I call them BBD. You know what I'm saying? They looking for the bigger, better deal. You know, something to ease their pain because they like money. Know that. And that crazy check come along with that, really.
Man,
so, that's a major situation right there. See, it's all the man.
And it's systematic.
Yes, sir. All the way to the child support is all right there together.
They'll take the black teachers out of school that had the authority to beat the hell out of you. They had a real solver.
The hood authority.
They had a solver for HDAD. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they'll take them out.
Somebody, you know?
And then you put these other people in there, and then these people are the ones that's responsible for medicating your children. See, if you know what, as long as when we understand that the public educational system is a weapon that's used against our next generation of children, then we can have, at least we armed with that information.
Right. That's right.
But as long as you think, I'm sending my kids to school, you know what? This is where they start keeping up the little gang activity. Man, you got all kind of You got all kind of little cliques on YouTube with these young kids that's killing each other. They'll kill you. They're going to kill your parents. They'll show up at the funeral and shoot the funeral up. And then they'll be on their YouTube page talking about it, rapping about it, all of these things. Because they children, they don't have a full understanding of what's at stake. But it's like the mind already been programmed for death.
That's what I'm saying. That's the greatest trick that the devil did to us right there. Programmed us to die. When we supposed to be programmed to live and then be servants of the Most High in this vineyard. So, man, I'm over. That's why I'm over here flabbergasted, nigga.
That's one thing. So let me ask you a question, King Rashard. Have you ever been to the penitentiary?
No, sir.
I ain't never been to the penitentiary. So I told one of my brothers who was talking about the penitentiary because he said, you know, he had spent a major portion of his life locked up, you know. And I told him, I said, I've been to the penitentiary. He's like, when you go to the penitentiary? Well, a little clubhouse that they call Leeds, a little correctional thing for 30 days. I said, after that, I knew I would never cut out. I would never cut out for prison. I would never cut out for that. We're never going to do anything of the sort. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to that. But you know what?
I got it drilled in my head, dog, you know what I'm saying, to be on my P's and Q's all the time, you know what I mean? So, and then they did not want me in that place. So they always told me to walk alone when you do shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like my elders, my uncles, they wasn't playing that shit. They was like, nah, because they went there. That's when I was meeting their ass in prison, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it made me not do nothing.
Shit, I do what I do, but hell, I keep my damn mouth closed, you know what I'm talking about? Hey, I had to play sight on your ass type of shit. You don't know, hey, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, made me not do nothing. But jail ain't where it's at.
Man, the hunger pains make a motherfucker do things. Nigga, I don't know what you talking about.
I don't know, man. We dealing with a whole lot of issues. So how are they So what the Mexicans doing out there in your neck of the woods?
Man, they together, but you know, at the same time, they the ones they man, we just had a situation with the Mexicans at the job site. You know what I'm talking about? The motherfucker called one of the black brothers a nigga. Said, fuck you, nigga.
Wow.
It was a whole situation. I was just sitting there in the cut finna clear the whole goddamn room.
Yeah, see, I was telling people, I'm telling the brothers and sisters that they are going on the bottom of the pile again.
Yeah, they are shit. They already there, man. They ain't even paying attention because they too busy flossing and not realizing, trying to race against each other, not realizing that the only race we is the race of life. And the race of time that we got to go back to the Most High. That's the only race we in. Other than that, man, we supposed to be together, man.
Yeah,
and understanding what's happening.
These our Mexican brothers, they're coming in like a flood, which is fine. The thing is that all the opportunities that black people once had, that they wouldn't take advantage of, they won't have them in 5 years. You know, as we stated before.
I know that. I already see that.
As we stated before, it used to be a time to where everything up under a nurse's aide in a hospital was black people operating those positions. Your fast food restaurants, all of your jobs to where you didn't have no education or maybe a high school diploma. Those was black people's jobs. You understand what I'm saying?
I know.
And you know what? The thing that have held us back in this world system, was a lack of education. No high school diploma, you forced to do this. No college, you forced to do it. Well, here you got a people that barely speak the language, let alone don't have no education, no degrees, no nothing. Whose spot do you think that they're going to occupy?
Yours.
They're occupying it right now. Whose neighborhood you think they're going to occupy?
They taking over.
Damn right. And they are coming with their craft and with their trades and their skills,
sir.
and they are rebuilding.
And building it up.
They, you know what? Grandma and them spent their whole life paying for their houses.
Mm-hmm.
And what we do when the houses got to us?
Sell it.
Sell them to the We Buy Houses. We Buy Any House people. Let the stuff get ran down. They're occupying our neighborhoods now. And then they're rebuilding those things back up. And you know what? Here in Kansas City, they have taken, I'm not going to say that they have taken. They lay hold on what's given to them as an opportunity. And they maximizing the opportunities that they have. One of the greatest things that they got going for them is they have a family structure.
That's right.
And they are producing children. You ain't never going to see no Mexican people running into the abortion clinic.
Nope.
These are all the stuff. See, and listen, when our people get through talking all this religious crap, this is what you got to look at.
That's what we looking at.
This is what you got to look at. The only businesses that you got in the community that's black owned is churches.
Yes, sir.
A liquor store or two.
Yes, sir.
And a nightclub or two. And a nightclub or two.
And barbers.
And some raggedy car lots. And some barber and beauty shops. These particular businesses do not build up no community.
Oh.
Now, when you look at these things that these brothers is building, they building roofing companies. They building contracting companies. They building landscaping companies. And you know what? And it's affecting their community because they employing their own people. See, when we get through talking all this religious stuff, man, I don't give a damn about what nobody talking. Miss me with the bullshit.
That's right.
You see, and every time I turn around, you got one of these clowns trying to put a man in a box because he believe and operate according to the scripture. But above that, the scripture got to have some place to go. And it got to be applied in real life.
That's right.
Then you don't talk all this religious nonsense and you look at these kids out here killing each other.
Right.
You look at brothers and sisters on welfare, Section 8, can't even maintain the Section 8 property that been given to you. And then you got the airhead brothers, uppity niggas, and uppity sisters that think because they get a good job, first thing they want to do is they want to go and move out there where the white people are, as though white people set the standard for this world. Now, I don't have nothing against white people. Matter of fact, there's some white people in my life that I love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the point that I'm making is that you want to take your money and then run over there, talk down on the neighborhood that you came from,
right.
And then you go out here and become an embarrassment. You're already around people that don't want you there, but then you take your trifling ass out there and can't keep your own damn grass cut right. You take your trifling ass out there, and then you got all this stuff all over the house, all in the driveway. Ain't nothing neat.
Hey, man, I know.
And you become an embarrassment.
Hey, man.
Man, this is, man, and you know what? And you sit to your side because you know God ain't pleased with it. You know God ain't pleased with it. You know God ain't pleased with it.
Hell no.
You deal with people. See, my thing is that at some point, we're going to have to come to recognize that when it comes down to our people as a whole, we represent the most wicked people on the planet.
No doubt.
You know what it said that Israel, you know what it said that Israel,
no doubt.
You know what it said Israel sinned, but Judah did worse.
Right.
You look at it. Look at it for what it is. You look at our brothers out there. You look at these clowns out here on these street corners. ain't got no jobs, ain't taking care of themselves. You look at these camps. What have they built in the community?
Hold on.
You look at these community leaders. What have they built in the community?
I ain't even gonna say what I was gonna say.
It's crazy, man.
Because nobody that's taking donation need to be talking shit about nobody that's out there hurting their keep. What you mean? What you mean?
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, man, this is real life. You got these brothers in jail. Before you go to jail, can't nobody tell you nothing. Then you mess around and stumble in the boiler room in the penitentiary, and you stumble and find Muhammad in there. And then you come out here with all this nonsense. It's the same thing. You go to jail, and then you find Jesus in one of the jail cells. It's a good game till you get out.
Oh, man, you just gave me something right there.
Man, listen, man. It's a good game until you get out. But you get out, and then what can you do besides go back? You know what Solomon said? A fool returned to his foolishness like a dog returned to his vomit. What else you gonna do? You got a felony. You already ain't got no education. You got a felony on you. You can't get no good work. What else you gonna do? You ain't got a mind. If you ain't got a mind to be focusing while you in jail on how you gonna find a way to start up a business or something of that nature. Now you know what we want to do.
That's thinking, man. We got to get out of that thinking, kid. We got to change our mindsets. Hey, and that's what the book's supposed to be for, to open up what's inside of you already. But hey, it is what it is.
Man. You know what, man? You got people out here, man.
Serious for real.
You got people out here getting seriously injured every other day. One of these kids or one of these old fools, high, drunk, behind the wheel of a car, ain't got no driver's license, ain't got no insurance. Half the time the car don't even belong to them. Got the nerve enough to be speeding up and down the street. Every other day somebody's car getting slammed into. And then they take off and speed away. You don't know what kind of condition that you'd have left somebody in. You could be to kill somebody behind the wheel. You got absolutely no concern about what just took place. You know good and well that you ain't even supposed to be behind nobody's wheel in that type of manner. But we don't see nothing wrong with it.
Shit. I know better, so it's an accountability thing.
And then they sink you into this mindset. Well, you can't be no snitch. Nigga, I wish you would do something around me. I wish you would. Nigga, I wish you would. I'm going to pull my phone out and film your ass, nigga, then take it to the authorities. I wish you would do something around me, because you the menace that's messing up the condition that our people is in.
That's right, though. That's right.
Now, that's different. If me and you doing a crime, and I get caught and you get away, no, I ain't gonna tell on you, because I'm guilty. We was doing this together.
Right.
But I tell you one thing, if you escape and I don't tell on you, nigga, you better make sure I don't want for nothing. You better make sure I don't want for nothing. All right, I still ain't gonna tell on you then, but it's gonna be hell to pay when I see you when I get out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But see, these are the type of grimy people that you dealing with. You got brothers that done took this time, that the hell they own, only for the one that got away to turn
coat on them.
Turn coat on them.
I know.
Man, this is the condition that we as a people are in. Our lives are steeped in wickedness. You look at the brothers, you look at the sisters, These young brothers, they care absolutely nothing about no woman.
Right.
These young sisters, they care. They could give 2 cents. They do not care about. When they say I don't need no man, they serious about that. Because you got all kind of dildos and dildo rocking chairs and you got all this stuff. I say, you know what? They really don't need no man when it comes down. Because they invented so much stuff. They don't care. They don't care, man. And we refuse to see ourselves like God sees us. And then when somebody start talking about God, you want to make them out like they some type of genie that just leaped out of a bottle. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're gonna be hard on me. You're gonna be hard on me because I'm in a nice spot with a Bible. But you don't see shit wrong with you having your legs wide open on a stripping pole in front of strangers. You don't see nothing wrong with coming out the house in what you should be in night clothes. You don't see nothing wrong with that. Where can you find time to find something wrong with a man carrying a Bible that still goes out and enjoy yourself? Where can you see the mentality is just corrupted? Ain't no perfect people on the planet.
Man, the Most High said we supposed to live, King. What you mean? We supposed to enjoy it, but if we working, we supposed to enjoy it.
I just be saying to myself, man, and you look at the damage that these so-called religious leaders in these churches done. They got people hiding from their own self. You're in church on Sunday shouting and dancing, but then you got to sneak past the mirror for the rest of the week.
Hey, we ain't gonna talk about Cayavas and them, man. We ain't even talk about them people. How they did our brother, and they don't even know what they talking about it, man.
I mean, man, listen, man, we just got to be real as a people. When you turn on the TV and you look at rap videos, you see hatred being exemplified between brothers and brothers. You see hatred being exemplified between men and women.
Yes, sir.
You see hatred being exemplified between women and men. When you turn your TV show on, you don't see none of our brothers as talented as they are, that they don't have enough balls to say, I'm not playing this role.
Right.
You'll see clowns. You got your Eddie Griffins, you got all of your comedy people, you got all these clowns out here. Everything that you see on TV is wicked.
Yes, sir.
When it comes to us. When you look in the life that we live in, everything is wicked.
Yes,
everything is wicked, have been made to be good, and it ain't no shame about it. And as we talked about on yesterday, you got brothers, we done moved into places of debauchery. You know what debauchery is, King Rashard?
Yes, sir.
What is it? Tell the audience.
Hey, everything that's fucking nasty up under the sun, that's an abomination to the Most High.
Debauchery, man. We done moved into places of debauchery where we think that anal sex is sex.
Yes, sir.
Anal is sodomy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And brothers have got to the point now to where the only thing they want to do is run up in a woman's booty hole. They don't understand that they themselves are homosexuals. They're sodomites. They're no different than the drag queen. You see, I'm telling you the honest to God truth. Because see, a drag queen, he don't want no vagina.
Nah, he just want to dress up.
He wants the anal. He wants the anal. That's the only difference between a man and a homo. As a homo, he wants the anal. Wow. When a man get to the place to where this anal thing is driving him, he might as well go put a skirt on. He might as well go paint his nails. Oh, I know this is tough. I know it's strong meat. I know all of that. But if somebody don't tell brothers and sisters these things, they will not know. You're sodomite. We seen that Lot's sons have married, Lot's son-in-laws married Lot's daughters. When Lot went to get his son-in-laws, because he was taking his daughters out of Sodom, his son-in-laws said, forget the vagina. We're going to stick with the anal.
Oh, man.
Is it recorded in the book that they left? No. You got our brothers coming out of jail, and one of the sayings that they used to say, well, I jump over 10 pieces of pussy for a fat butt boy.
Oh, man.
Now, let me remind you, brothers and sisters, we're dealing with everyday life here. And I tell you over and over again, don't get me confused with no Sunday morning preacher, because I am not one. I am your brother. And we're dealing with these intense issues like this. We are not playing with nobody. This is serious.
Right.
You got brothers out here talking about, you got brothers sticking Jolly Ranchers in sisters' booty holes and sucking it out.
Man.
And they talking about it. You got sisters allowing these dudes to drag their log through the mud. And they talking about it. You got sisters talking about they just slept with 5 men. That's the greatest thing that they done this year. They don't got no prop. See, my point is this. There is no shame. And this is pure deep wickedness. And we keep coming out here. We're the chosen people. We're the chosen for what? Because the same dude that got the fringes on have turned into a homo. Now you want to sleep with 3 or 4 women in one bed. Abraham didn't do it like that. Isaac didn't do it like that. Jacob didn't do it like that. King David didn't do it like that. King Solomon didn't do it like that. Elkanah didn't do it like that. Multiple wives had multiple living quarters in multiple places.
Yes, sir.
And there were men back in the days when we was young that had multiple wives. That's what you had. They had one family over here, another family over there. But them 2 families was completely separated.
Right. Didn't even know about each other.
Now you got 3, 4 women in one bed, and you justified it through polygynous relationships. But you see, the porn that already distorted our mind. Because ain't no way. You got 3 women in the bed. And when hormones get to flowing and it get heated, hey, all bets is off. Now you got sisters licking on each other.
Right.
And y'all doing everything. And see, we don't want to look at these things for what they really are. It's wickedness in the eyes of God. And we can't figure out why it is that the black people keep on being in the worst condition. We can't understand why people are killing us. We can't understand why the white boy come on there the other day and said the greatest thing white people could do is get the hell away from black people. We can't understand why we despised by the Asians, by the Arabs, by the Hamites. We can't understand these things. But when they look at us, and the world that we are living in, when they look at how we conduct ourselves, man, it breaks your heart, man.
Yes, sir.
It breaks your heart, man. And it's a reason why I'm hard on the so-called freeze-dried, vacuum-packed sermon preaching pastors. It's a reason why I'm hard on these so-called camp leaders and community leaders, because you running up at the side of your mouth and you ain't having no impact when it comes to the reality that we as a people are in.
Right.
And then when God's Spirit shows up in the nightclub, somebody got a problem with it. You know what? You ain't got a problem with the shame that you're in, but you got a problem with me. Because I'm trying and attempting to bring some goodness into a dark place where somebody might need to be lifted up. Somebody might need to hear a song that lifts them up. Somebody might need to be embraced. And you feel like I ain't got no place there. Well, let me tell you something, baby. The scripture said that they that sit in dark places, they must see a great light. And so every blood-bought believer, every person that say that they believe in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach need to find a dark space in this world to invade.
Yes, sir.
Man.
You'll see how real it is.
I don't know. I can't speak for nobody else, man, but I done looked. I have looked. And chances are I will continue to look in the face of mothers as they have to bury their children. I have looked and will continue to look in the face of people that have married, some of them up under my instruction, only to find themselves in divorce. I have looked and going to continue to look. I have looked in the face of drug abuse and alcoholism and brokenness. Look in the face of those things. No, I ain't no perfect man, but every day I wake up, I tell myself, devil, you might have whooped me yesterday, but if I can stop one person by this experience and this bad feeling that I'm feeling from my failure, if I can stop one person, if we can stop one person,
yes, sir.
If we can stop one person from taking their first hit of crack, if we can stop one person from taking the first Molly, taking the first ecstasy pill, if we can stop one person from taking a puff off of water when everybody's trying to edge you on, if we can just stop one person from going, if we can stop one young brother coming up from fornicating, from allowing this stuff to be led into a hole, if we can just stop one, if we can get one sister to understand how valuable she is and understand that even though she might have done it, that God still loves her, if we can just get one,
yes, sir,
then our job is done.
Yes, sir.
You see, you got all these people. When you look at my Facebook page, you're going to see Yapanata this, that. You're going to see all these Hebrew names. And these niggas out there arguing about nothing. Ain't paying absolutely no attention to what's going on in this world. We looking at it. We looking at it, man.
I don't think I think they paying attention. I just think they're afraid, man.
Well, you know what?
I think they're afraid.
They should be afraid of what God sees.
That's what I'm talking about.
You see, the fear of God is the beginning of wisdom. It's a sad thing. That's why I ain't ducking or hiding from nobody. Say what you want to say about me, but I ain't ducking or hiding from you. I ain't ducking and hiding from you. And people that used to be around me, I said, if you ashamed, then get away from me.
That's it.
Because if I want to smoke a primo, nigga, I'll fire it up and then blow the smoke in your face. I ain't ashamed. If it's what I do, if you ashamed of me, then you get with somebody. And see, that's what I'm talking about. We ashamed of all of these things when it comes to pertaining to men.
Right.
But nigga, you should be afraid. You should be very afraid of what God sees.
Sir. Yes, sir.
That's what we should be afraid of.
Yes, sir.
Brothers and sisters, listen. Listen. Some of us have been into some crazy stuff. And I'm going to tell you something. Drugs and alcohol, they are gates.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
They open up doors. I didn't used to want to smoke until I start drinking.
Right.
And once I start drinking, then that other gate open up. But then once we start getting high and we start smoking that crack and start snorting that cocaine and start doing, it open up more gates. Now here comes the debauchery. Debauchery is things, acts that we commit sexually that are against nature. Now here comes the debauchery. Because you ain't in your right mind. We have coming up under the total influence of demons. And a demon is a disembodied spirit whose plight is to feel things, but he don't have a body to work them out. And when he can get a body up under the influence and those gates open up, there are no limits to how far any of us will sink when it comes to our Adamic nature. So I don't put nothing past nobody. And we don't respect no man. We don't have no respect for no person for what they done, what they ain't done, what they gonna do, or how great they seemingly be. We don't have no respect for people. And if you're smart, you won't have no respect for people either. Don't have no respect for me. You just have love for me. But those things open up gates. And those gates cause you to sink into a farther and a deeper pit. Our young kids, they don't wake up just with the mind to go kill nobody.
Right.
When they wake up and flip that rap music on, it opens up a gate.
Yes, sir.
And then when you start putting the Mollies and the Fizz pills and the 7-Up and all of that stuff on top of it, and on top of the weed, they open up more gates. And all of this is working together to bring the mind up under the influence of a demon. And before you know it, you're rattling off 50 rounds and you done killed 2 or 3 people.
Right.
When you wake up the next morning, you wake up in your rightful state of mind. Your sister can't just go out there and prostitute in her right mind. Ain't no sister can just go out there and jump up on the stripping pole in her right mind. There are gates that have to be opened up because demons have to assume control. You have to come up under the influence. You know why? Because you can't live with yourself like that. Because the conviction of the Spirit is right there when you're in your right, correct state of mind. The conviction of God's Spirit is right there.
Yes, sir.
And you have to block out the conviction of the Spirit in order for those gates to open up. You come up under the influence, and before you know it, you are doing something that's totally against God.
Yes, sir.
Then you got to deal with yourself. This is what I'm talking about the Christian people. When you go to church, there's a spell that's cast from the pulpit. A spell of self-righteousness. But you know what? All week long, you've been opening up gates. All week long, you've been up under the influence of demons. And now you go to church and a spell get cast on you. But you got to live with yourself. Brother got to live with himself. When he wake up the next morning in his right state of mind, God's spirit of conviction is on him. You murdered them people. You murdered 3 people last night.
Yes, sir.
The conviction of God's spirit is on a woman. When you doing this with your body, with your life, you got children. One day your children gonna grow up. You know how many people, you got cell phones, you got photographs and all this, you all over the internet. You see, when you come in your right state of mind, God's conviction is right there with you.
Yes, sir.
After a night of doing drugs and all that, and you done went into debauchery, and you done found yourself looking at porn and jacking off and all of that stuff, when the next morning come and you got to face yourself, good God Almighty, when you got to face yourself. But let me tell you something. The scriptures say, blessed are them that mourn, for they shall be comforted. Mourning don't just come when we lose a loved one. Mourning comes when those gates have been opened and those demons have had their way with us and used our body against God, the body God gave us, and used it against God. And when God showed his mercy to us and allow us to wake up another day, his spirit of conviction is there for a reason. It is there to bring you to a place of mourning.
Yes, sir.
So that we can be comforted. So no matter what it is that we done or what it is that we are yet to do, God is merciful. And he has the capacity to forgive us. If we can find ourselves mourning Oh, Father, I don't know. I don't know how many prayers. I done prayed standing on top of my head. I done prayed out in the woods. I done prayed doing cartwheels. I done prayed riding down the highway. I done prayed crying. I done prayed screaming and cussing and fussing. I done prayed in silence. I done prayed to the point where I ain't got no words. I'm just going to sit here. I done prayed every prayer that's known to man. It ain't nothing been able to stop. Them gates will open up from time to time, and they will bring you to a place of mourning, because you feel bad when you done let them. When you feel bad when you done let God down.
Yes, sir. Yes,
we have got entangled into a lot of things. A lot of things. Tell a man, stop that anal stuff. Yeah, you might try the first couple of times. When the conviction comes, you know that you're out of order. Yes, but sir. You know what? When the gate open up, you find yourself dragging your log through the mud again. And then when you get the next day, the conviction will be on you. You feel bad about that. Now you can talk to the Lord, ask the Lord to help change something. Brother, you out there killing people. God ain't through with you. He ain't forgot about you. But you got to be able to come face to face with that conviction. Sister, you've been promiscuous. You've been sleeping. You've been hopping from one bed to the next bed. Last memory in your memory bank was you sucking on 3 willies and they filling up all of your holes. Hey, this is real. This is reality. This is real life. This happening every day to somebody.
Right.
And if they don't understand what's happening, life can get real hopeless.
Yes,
we got to do something, people, because us as Negro people, us as Israelite people, us as people of the book, we have done far worse than our forefathers. Yet God still loves us. He said he will in no ways change his mind about his people or what he promised Abraham. He said, thus said the Lord that give a sun for a light by day and the moon and the stars for a light by night. The one who divide the waves when the sea roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances shall depart from me, then I will cause the Negro to cease from being my people. That's the book.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how worse it's going to how much worse it's going to have to get. Can you imagine it being worse than what you see now, King Rashard?
Man, I already see it coming. So I'm just like, I understand.
I mean, so if you say it can get worse, what do you think you can add to where we at now to make it worse?
Hey, it's the blindness. Like the steady state of blind.
I just read a post. Somebody sent me and tagged me in a post based on the video we done yesterday. And it says, homeowner shoots half-naked man for climbing through his daughter's window. Here's a man that hears something, goes to his daughter's room, and here's a half-naked grown man about to rape a little child. How much more wickeder do you think it can get?
I see it coming, man.
How many more drugs do you think that they can create that will make it even more wicked?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be no more in between, because now this fentanyl is just straight killing people.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It ain't even destroying a person's life where they got an opportunity. It's just straight. How much more wicked do you think? If you got a sister that can get donked by 6, 7 men at one time, some women taking 2 penises up the anal at the same time. You know how I know? Because I'm a man. And I'm not no stranger to pornography. I know every pornographic channel it is to know. I know Pornhub, XNXX, Hamster.com, Xvideos.com, and a plethora of other ones. Ain't nothing you can tell me, because I done had those gates opened up. And I have seen Some of the most heinous stuff and a lot of stuff I had never even known about until I start watching that porn. And then you want to take her home, and now you want your woman to do it. I'm not talking about men. I ain't never got the chance to drag my log through the mud, but it ain't because I hadn't attempted it. I just didn't get the wrong woman. I'm not gonna say the right woman. I just didn't get the wrong woman. I didn't get the wrong woman. Cause you see it on there, you say, oh man, I got to try that. They look like they enjoying that stuff. And the girl's talking about, put it in my butt, put it in my butt. And I'm like, damn, I got to find me somebody I can put it in their butt. I never found the wrong woman. But don't you think for 1 minute. And I did attempt it a couple of times. But on the women that I attempted on, they was like Broncos, boy. They was like, hell no, you ain't doing that. Let's just keep it real. Let's keep it real. Listen, this what the world need, man. We don't need these religious, faked out religious people. You need real people. You need real people that can look at life for what it really is and then deal with it from the standpoint of God's righteousness.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Now, everybody that's on this thread, if I have touched something that you can identify with and you know it's real, put a 7 up in there. Because, see, when we can look our problems and our issues in the face, and then we can start mourning over those things. See, because a lot of things we do, we don't even realize that they're wrong. I told you, nobody ever even told us about fornication. We never heard nothing about no fornication. Been in church my whole life. Never heard the preacher talk about no fornication. You know why he didn't talk about fornication? Because half of the people in church wasn't married, and that wasn't the message that he wanted to preach.
Oh man.
We as children, we should have knew. We could have avoided a whole lot of things.
A lot of stuff. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If somebody would have only told us. When we start talking about this debauchery, I never heard the word lasciviousness until I was well into my 30s. I never heard the word promiscuous. I never heard it. But we became all of these things.
Yes, sir.
Without even knowing that we had become them. We never heard that. You know, when I smoked my first joint, I was 12 years old. And the guy, we was at the park, and I was a cool kid. I was a cool kid that learned how to shoot crap. I was one of those kids that they used to say, it's before its time. They used to call me old man. And he let me hit the joint of weed when I was 12 years old. And it was a trip, man. Because I never felt like that. I went home, and then my stepmother asked me to wash the dishes. And I was washing the dishes. I felt like I was up in the corner somewhere looking at my body. But you know what? I went in there and went to sleep. And once I slept it off, I was like, oh, I'm cool again. It's all right. It's all right.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you know what? I smoked my first cigarette when I was probably about 13, 14. I had no idea that 50 years later, 40 years later, I'd be fighting with everything that I got just to stop smoking. I done baked all of my teeth in my mouth from smoking the cigarettes to smoking the weed and smoking water and smoking Primos. I have literally baked all of my teeth and destroyed my teeth. Now I go to the dentist yesterday. I got 3 teeth that got to come out. I ain't got no back teeth to chew on. And these 2 teeth right here got to come out. So I'm about to be looking like a rabbit until they give me some false teeth. Nobody never told me these things. Nobody never told me that. I remember when the first time that I entered into the drug scene, I was 17 years old, left Kansas City to go back to Minnesota, and I'm hanging with my big cousin them. And next thing I know, we in a crack house. I ain't never been in no crack house before. And it was freebasing back then with the glass pipe with the round thing. And I'm like, man, what y'all doing, man? What y'all doing? Me, you trying to be cool. You trying to fit in. Let me have it. Let me have it. And I don't know what I'm doing. Boy, give it here. You fucking up the dope, boy. Give it here. I was like, okay, cool. That wasn't for me. Well, 10 minutes later, I see all of them broke. And they was begging me for money that they had gave to me earlier because I was the visitor from Kansas City. I was like, I ain't doing that. But lo and behold, my cousin boomeranged back on another issue. Nigga, this is a Mackin ball. This is a Mackin ball. This is what Kansas City called primo. This is crack crushed up, sprinkled on top of weed. Oh man, I didn't fall for the pipe. And that's probably one of the reasons why crack never destroyed my life. But oh baby, I fell head over heels for that Mackin ball. Oh, this is my thing. Give me the Mackin ball. I done reached the pinnacle. I don't want nothing else right now. I didn't have no idea that this particular thing would send my life on a roller coaster ride for the next 25 years. I didn't have no idea. There was always that mourning.
Yes, sir.
When I would be in party and spent up, you see, because I did hair, I made a substantial amount of money, and that enabled me to be able to spend money.
Right.
But man, I spent all of my money. I wouldn't take care of no bills. I wouldn't take care of my responsibility, which ultimately caused me to lose the first marriage that I was in. I didn't have no idea that stuff was going to destroy me and destroy those things in your life. You don't have no idea.
Right.
Nobody is telling you these things. Not even the people whose lives have been destroyed ahead of you are be the same ones to give it to you.
Right.
No, I had no idea, man.
Man.
I didn't have no idea, man. I didn't have no idea that when I was like, about same age, when I was 11, 12, I didn't have no idea that the first time it was me, it was my cousin Deb, and it was a brother named Tony. My cousin Deb and Tony, they lived in my auntie's house who had a foster care. I didn't have no idea that one day Deb and Tony, we all play together. We'd be upstairs and Deb would be like, he got something he gonna show you. He got something he gonna show you. I didn't have no idea that when he pulled his willy out and showed me how to make his penis ejaculate white stuff out of there, that was wow. I didn't have no idea that coming up to my teenage years, I spent so much time in the bathroom whacking out that my grandma would come and say, boy, get your ass out of that bathroom. You know what I'm saying? Listen, man. Listen, you don't have no idea. There are many brothers like this. You don't have no idea that all of that jacking off and all of that climaxing, taking your strength away from you, you don't have no idea that it's going to bring you to the place to where when you get a woman and you want to be sexual, you can be hard 1 minute and before you can get right in the minute where your woman is riled up and then your stuff can just go soft and go limp. You don't have no idea that's going to bring you to the place where you need to use Blue Chew and Viagra and all of these Cialis and all these different things. You don't have no idea. And ain't nobody out there telling us. Somebody should be thanking God for your brother that's able to come on here and open up his life and tell you these things.
That's right.
These things happen to me. What do I have to be ashamed about? This is the life that God gave me. And because of the things that I've experienced in this life gives me the authority to come back and tell you what God said.
Yes, sir.
Nobody told me.
That's right.
Nobody never told me. And I like to think of what life could have been if somebody did tell you these things.
Right.
I'm 56 years old now. My face is white. My teeth are falling out. I can barely see. My lungs don't work right. My body is not in the best of shape. The only thing that I can do is prepare myself to die, but live the best life that I can while I'm doing it. Nobody never told me, so I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you.
Yes, sir.
I'm telling you all. What's up, big bro? Come on in.
You on your show?
Yeah, come on in. You just the man I want to see. You just the man I want to see.
How's everybody?
You just the man I want to see.
Peace and blessings.
That's my big brother over there, and he been telling me for years he gonna come and get on the video and do the video, because he always got something to talk about.
I do?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yep, and he tell me a lot of stories right now, huh?
How you turn this on?
What?
This computer.
Keep doing what it's a power button right there.
It is?
Yep. Yeah, so that's what it is, man. And as I said before, you get old and you find out that you're still affected by these things.
Yes, sir.
They have effect on you. When I tell you that my face is white, it comes from experience. That's where God turned a man's face white, by allowing him to go through all of these things. The Bible say that Jesus had hairs. His hairs and his head was white like wool. At the age of 33, he looked like an old man because he had been through so many different situations. He said his eyes was as a flame of fire because wine would cause the eyes to turn red. You see, when I tell you that my teeth are falling out, my teeth are not just falling out because they falling out. My teeth are falling out because they have been baked throughout my whole life with smoke, as though you put a brisket in the oven, or though you put a brisket on a smoker. There's no fire, there's just smoke. And smoke will do, if a smoke will do that to animal's flesh, it'll do that to human flesh. And I have literally baked my teeth to the point to where they're falling out.
That's everybody.
And that's,
yes, sir.
you know, we do things with our bodies.
Yes,
I've put so much smoke in my lungs that if I had to take off and run for my life, I couldn't get no more than a block.
Yes, you could.
Yeah, yes, you could. Yes, you could.
So,
Call me later. I got that white truck.
okay. So now you get older and you start thinking about these things. You say, well, I go to the gym and I do the best that I can. I do the best that I can with my life. You know,
Right.
I do the best that I can. You're still affected by these things.
Yes, sir.
You're still affected by them.
Yes, sir.
You know, it's crazy, you know. It really is. So it really wasn't but one place for me to run. And that was straight in the arms of the Lord. And when I got serious about changing my life, I never will forget it. I've been up all night smoking, and I'm high, and I'm pacing the floor, going through divorce. I'm pacing the floor with a 30 cal in my hand, wondering whether I should just blow my brains out and end it all, or whether I should go over there and kill my ex-wife. And I sat down, and the spirit, myself, started talking to me. So why don't you get up and go to church? So I've been up 48 hours straight. I still smell like smoke, My mind ain't right. I can't go to no church. So the Lord allowed that spirit that he sent to Saul to start tormenting me. And that spirit started tormenting me. It was a killing spirit, a spirit of suicide that got put on me. And it scared me so bad that I said, okay, I'll go to church. But while I was on my way to church, it's like that spirit, myself, is telling me what it's going to take for me to get God's help. From being in rebellion all of these years, you're going to have to humble yourself. And I mean humble yourself like you ain't never seen yourself humble before. And I refuse. Said, you're going to prostrate yourself in the floor of all of these people. And then I'll give you help. And when I thought about that, me being a prideful man, a dressing man, an A1 hairstylist, a #1 roller skater, a #1 two-stepper, somebody that could have the women, somebody that was popular, all that, you telling me to lay on the floor in my nice clothes and cry in front of all these, it ain't gonna happen. So that spirit of suicide began to torment me again. And in Kansas City, Missouri, James Cleaver Boulevard on 47th Street, they had just built that bridge, that overpass. And here come that spirit saying, all you got to do is just turn the wheel and it'll be over. And that scared me too bad because I wasn't ready to die. So I hit the gas. And by the time I pulled up to that church, I jumped out of that car and I ran up in that church and I opened them doors up and I ran straight down the aisle and I laid down in the floor and I cried like a baby and told the Most High, if you don't get me up from here, I'm going to die in this condition. And that's the prayer that I pray right now to this day. Father, I know I ain't all together. I know I ain't got it all right, but don't let me die in this condition. And yeah, they laughed at me. Yeah, they talked about me. They did all of that. But the Most High picked me up. He picked me up. And from the moment he picked me up, he raised me up, and he raised me up with word in my mouth that will come out and flabbergast. Anybody that gave a listening ear would be blown away at what they heard. That's what he gave me in exchange for me giving him myself. And he told me, he said, for anybody that want my goodness and want my grace, they know that they gonna have to get up off this floor. He said, because no matter how far you go, they will always remember the floor. Right to this day. When those people want to have a conversation about Brother Milliken, you know what they conversate about? They don't conversate about the great lesson that was taught, the great video. They conversate about, I remember when he came in there and fell out on the floor. I remember when he was out there crying like a baby. And when I got out of church, it was all over town. Phone was ringing. I was broke. I was humbled. I was humbled. I didn't have nothing left. I'd already lost my wife. I already separated from the kids. I already done lost my money. I already out of my house. I'd already lost everything. I don't have nothing left. So when they call, only thing I can do is just take it.
Yes,
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. And the Most High would eventually move me away from church and put me on Facebook. And from Facebook, he will open up doors for me. And he would send me all over this country. He would bring me in contact with great men that I would never have met. And all of that came from the circumstances and the situations that I have been through in my life. And let me tell you something. If I can make it through them, you can make it through them. When you understand. I once heard a preacher say there is no pain that comes detached from a purpose. We don't always see the purpose. We don't just make the videos for nothing. And I don't have to be welcome in nobody's church. I've had my church life already. If somebody ever invited me to come to church in my town, I would do the best that I can to come to their church and build up their people right where they're at. I ain't going to come in there with no ancient message or nothing that's too high for people. I'll come in there and build them up right where they at.
That's it.
But I'm past church.
That's
I've already had my training for that. I'm past Israelite heritage. I've had my training for that. It's a wonderful thing to know who you are, but if you don't know what your purpose is and what God created you to be out here doing in this world that you're living in, it's best that you stay in ignorance. I've had my training. I've had my training. I've worn the fringes. I've worn the mitres. And from time to time when I stand in a holy place, I still wear my holy garments. But I've had my superficial moments of Israelite heritage. I'm not here to play with nobody. This ain't no plaything. Life ain't no plaything. Tomorrow, somebody gonna die. And that's what I be thinking about on a daily basis. Oh, Lord, I'm hurting right here. Oh, please don't let me have cancer. I know I gotta die some kind of way, but when I look at all the things that I done and the harm that I done brought on my body, it's a miracle that I'm even still here. That I'm still here. But we just gonna keep it real.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would apologize to y'all for crying, but I can't.
Man, I was like, you gonna get out of here, man.
Because part of me is joyful, but there's a major part of me that's still mourning over the sins that I'm yet to overcome. There's a part of me that's mourning over things that I feel like I should be past by now. I should be over this by now. I should be through with this by now. I shouldn't need this by now. Why is it still around? Why can't I just turn and walk away? I was able to turn and walk away from eating flesh and blood. Why I can't just turn and walk away from this?
Right.
There are parts of me that's still mourning. When I have to wake up and look at myself. And these are the questions that you ask. I know that God loved me. And God, I'm sure God knows that I love him too. But my humanity, my human nature gets in the way sometimes of things that I would like to see accomplished in my life.
Right.
But boy, do they keep me humble.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And I came to this conclusion a long time ago. I believe that the Most High can have more respect for a person that's humble enough to be honest about where they at, even though they don't have it all together, than he will have for a person that becomes a liar in his presence.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't want to be a great pretender. I've been a pretender before. I've been a pretender. Trying to fit in with everybody. Trying to be cool. Trying to do all these things. Trying to be top and slick. Trying to be a pimp. And trying to be all the things that I wasn't on the inside. I've been a great pretender. Been a square at heart. Been a righteous man at heart for my whole life. But been pretending. Too ashamed to allow the beauty of God's goodness to just come out and just flow. Too ashamed. Because you want to be around and blend in with rot gut grimy people. And I've been that. Reverend Ike. Deacon Durong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Here come Reverend Ike again. Here come Deacon Durong again. Nigga got a joint in one hand, a beer in the other hand. What makes people think that you got, because I got a joint in one hand and a beer in the other hand, I can't talk about God?
Right. Right, what's wrong with me?
If you can have a joint in one hand and a beer in the other hand and talk about licking a Jolly Rancher out of a woman's booty hole, why can't I talk about God?
It makes sense to me, man.
Yeah, man. And you know what? And see, these videos here good because they help. They help my brothers in Kansas City, because my brothers in Kansas City, they have never been exposed to me in this light with the word. Though they see the word every time they see me, because the word is meant to be lived, not talked about. You see? Right. But because of what religion and church have done to the minds of people, They think that if you associated with the word, that you're supposed to be some type of science fictional ghost or something. You know what I mean? Like you goody two-shoes. I'm coming out the gate with the Bible letting you know, boy, I'm corrupted. That's the only reason why I'm hanging on to this Bible. If I let go of this Bible, boy, I'm telling you, I'm going to turn into something that's going to blow your mind. Now, I got to hold on to this Bible for dear life. This Bible keeps me reminded of who I am and what God requires of me. I don't carry this Bible so that I can pretend to people that I have arrived. I've reached the grand pinnacle of God's right. Nah, they ain't nowhere near that, baby. I keep this Bible handy because I know me. I know my own limitations. And if God's word ain't there to constantly remind me, it will be me that's pulling the Jolly Rancher out of a sister's butt. It will be me that's doing that. Yeah, it'll be me that's doing that. And nobody taught us many things. I would like to believe that it cost somebody something. There's a saying that was said, I remember T.D. Jakes said this saying a long time ago when I was a young man. He said, your love can only be measured by the sacrifice that you're willing to make. I like to believe that me telling you all of these things about myself is what I'm willing to sacrifice for people that God loves.
Right.
And I remember a lady asked me one time, she said, I used to teach Sunday school. After I got up off that floor, one of the first things that the Most High did is he placed me as a head Sunday school teacher over all of the men as a fluke. Because one day, the Sunday school teacher wasn't there, me and a few other brothers. And he said, Brother Milligan, why don't you just get up there and fool with the lesson? And I got up there and fooled with the lesson, but what they wasn't prepared for what was going to happen. And so out of disbelief, they put me up there the next week because they didn't believe it.
Right.
And it got done again. And the next thing you know, that all the men had voted me in to be the head Sunday school teacher. That's when I got up off the floor.
Right.
And I got up off the floor, and I would go from the Sunday school teacher to teaching on Wednesday night. And I watch an empty service on Wednesday night start filling up because of what God had done when I got up off the floor. And one day, one of the mother ladies, she said, Reverend Milligan, she said, why do you get up there and say those awful things about yourself? I said, because they're true.
Right. Right.
Yeah. Because when I stood on the floor of the church and told them I thank God for crack, they couldn't receive that. But what they didn't understand is that I prayed some of my most sincere, some of my most powerful prayers, being up on a 2 or 3 day binge, that spent up all my money, being brought to utter shame, total disgrace. And, you know, if they got money to pay my bills and take care of the things that I need to take care of. And now I got to go and beg people for stuff that I ought to be doing for myself. I said, I thank God for crack, because it caused me to be able to be real with myself, to be able to pray, to be able to be genuine about what it was that I was dealing with. And the only ministry that God ever gave me is pertaining to the things that he have allowed me to go through and been through. Every video that you ever see is based on the experiences that the Most High have given me and the wisdom that have come out of them.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it's those experiences that have an effect on people, because ordinary people go through the same things. There's just nobody to talk about it so that they can glean wisdom and understanding from those experiences to understand that God got a purpose for those things that you're going through. Somebody have to do it. Right. And we go out there and we vote for people. Oh, we're going to be transparent. That transparency is going to be what our campaign is ran on. And you vote for liars. And you go and you become a part of organizations. You know, I'm a man of God and God called me and I'm the pastor. And you go and sit up under liars. And you go and join organizations, camps, and community organizations where they say they represent God and they are liars.
Yes, sir.
This is what we do. When you want to see somebody tell the truth always begins with the individual that's telling it.
Yes,
You don't tell me about nothing. Tell me about you.
Right.
Tell me about you.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about your experience. Tell me how you dealt with it. Because I can learn from that. That's what the Bible is. The Bible is men that were not ashamed to tell their personal experiences. Look at the personal experiences of the broken men when they took Benjamin from Jacob and he'd already lost Joseph. And he dropped his hand in his hands and cried out and said, all these things are against me. I've lost my wife, the one that I love. You stuck me with these 3 women that I cared nothing about, and you took the one that I love. You took the children that came out of her womb. Joseph is dead, and now they have taken Benjamin, and you left me with all these other grimy sons that wasn't worth nothing, and all my life done crumbled, and all these things are against me. Every man in the Bible went through things that caused them to be great, not by the world standard of greatness. It was their humility and their shame that teaches us the most valuable lessons that we need to learn.
Yes, sir.
Moses, why have you brought me out here to care for all these kids as though they are my children? Are they supposed to be sucking on my breast? What am I to do with this? Why do you give me and put me in control of all of these hard-headed, stiff-necked people that won't do anything? Are they my children that they should suckle on my breast? And why should you be angry at me for what they are doing?
Right.
And why should I be denied the promised land?
Right.
After all that I done been through.
Right. Man.
All of the men went through these things.
Yes, sir.
Abraham, why do you want me to go and kill my own son? If you didn't want me eating your animals, all you had to do is tell me. You didn't have to go make me build an altar and put my boy on there. Why would you bring me to this point? Why would you put this woman in my house that just tear up my peace? I was content with Sarah, even though she couldn't have children. I dwelt with her for 90 years. I didn't need no other woman to come around. Why would you allow this to happen and destroy my whole house? Out of these circumstances came some of the greatest lessons for life living.
Yes,
These
sir.
are our people that we are talking about. These men were humble enough to tell their stories so that we could become beneficiaries of it. And our problem is that there are not enough people that are reading their stories. God's still giving men and women stories right now. And the stories that God given us that's living right now can have the same impact on the life that's living if we will tell them.
Yes, sir.
I wonder what it would be like if a sister came out and said, I remember I used to be promiscuous, and I was that one that you was talking about. I was that one, and I didn't know, but I let them put the Jolly Rancher in my butt, and it felt good, and I was hooked on it for a minute. Before you know it, I was the one. I had a whole bag of Jolly Ranchers sitting on the dresser for anybody that came in. He said, I know it. I was the one that was doing it, but I didn't know what I was doing was against God. I didn't know that it was sodomy. I thought it was just another part of sex. Wonder what it would be like if we had some sisters to come on there. I've been that promiscuous one. I was the one that was getting the train ran on, and I did that, and it was fun, and it was all of that, and I was being controlled. They got me drunk. They put a little ecstasy in myself. I was feeling good, and before you know it, I was in the bed, but I didn't know that it was dead wrong against God. I didn't know. I never heard the word called debauchery. I wonder what it would be like if the brothers came up, and man, you know what? I was a waterhead. I smoked that water, and before you know it, I'd be butt naked dancing on top of cars and running down the street. But at some point, God got a hold to me, and now I'm here to tell you this story. Wonder what it would be like. Wonder what it'd be like when people start telling their story. Then other brothers and sisters will have wisdom.
Yes, sir.
Because in order to get it, you got to hear it.
Yes, sir.
We wouldn't know what we know had it not been for the stories that's written in the book. Isaiah, mighty man of God, got to deal with the prophets of Baal. Look at his story. He knows he's a mighty man of God. Powerhouse, but a little bit arrogant too. Powerhouse. Wonder what it be. Look at his story. How he can serve God one minute, then run clean across town getting chased by a woman the next minute. How he can call fire down from heaven and burn up 3 sets of kings and then run because a woman was threatening him. Look at it. Look at the story. Double-mindedness is our prophets. Look at Ezekiel. Same thing. Look at them. Wonder, all of these stories that's in the Bible, the greatness that's dealing with these things don't come from their successes. It comes from their shame.
Yes, sir.
Because it's through our weakness that God's strength is perfected.
Sure. Yes, sir.
You see? When we see ourselves as God sees us, we see ourselves as empty vessels. Everybody go through these things. But some of us are too ashamed. And you know where shame comes from? You know where shame comes from? Shame comes from pride.
Yes, sir.
God said, pride, if you pride, I'm going to humble you.
Yes, he will.
I'm going to humble you. He said, but if you humble, I'm going to abase you. I'm going to raise you to the top. Why are we ashamed of the things that we have been through? What do it matter what you went through if you make it to the place that God means for you to be in?
Right.
Everybody go through something. Do you think God don't know? Wonder what it'll be like if a sister can come on here and tell the story. Tell the story. I was molested by my uncle. My mama's brother. And I couldn't tell nobody because wouldn't nobody listen. And it happened over and over again. And it scarred me all the way into my adulthood. And because of that, I became promiscuous because I thought that's what men wanted. So I began to sleep with one man after the next man, after the next man, after the next man. And now I got 50 bodies piled up on me. I wonder what it would be like when a sister tell her story. Wonder what it would be like if a brother came and told his story. That's why we deal with homosexuality, because I was the little kid that some of them punks used to be trying to offer me a quarter to go in the shed, 50 cents for some ice cream, just to let them lay on my back or play with my willy. I done seen it all through my childhood as cars would pull up on what they call a handsome little kid and try to pay him to suck his penis, and you don't know nothing about no sexuality. I'm hard on a homosexual. Oh, good God Almighty, had it not been for the mercy and the grace of the Most High covering me. But some brothers out there said, yeah, man, you escaped, man. But I was penetrated as a child. I was molested as a child by a grown man, and it hurted me so bad, and I knew that something wasn't right. But what could I do about it? Wonder what it would be like if the stories was told. Have not you read? Cursed be Canaan. Have not you read the story of Noah? How Noah was drunk with wine and laid in his tent naked, and his youngest son came in and raped him up the anal and brought a curse on all of his children. Have you not read the story? It's in there. Some of the most shameful, painful things to ever happen to human beings are written in this book, because there is no temptation that's taken except that is common to man. We have common ground in these areas because of the flesh that we live in. And we walk around in this flesh in shame as though we can do something else with our flesh. There is nothing else that can be done with it. The only thing that can be done with it is that when it dies, it's through sinning. But until it dies, it's going to always sin. And when we understand that, we don't pass judgment on each other. We don't be looking for each other to be perfect. We don't be making funny comments about people because they trying to do the right thing and overcome. You overcome in one area and you're falling down in another area, and you work on that area. And when you overcome in that one, there's another falling down area waiting on you. And when we understand that, we learn how to treat each other. Wonder what it'll be like. Brothers coming out, telling a story to their children. I'm sorry, son, it was my fault. My head was in the wrong place. Nobody was teaching me. I didn't know nothing about being a man. I didn't know nothing about sex. But I end up getting your mama pregnant. And then I end up getting her pregnant again. I didn't know nothing about responsibility. I didn't know that if I didn't graduate, I wasn't going to be able to get a good job. I didn't know that these things was going to lead me to prison, and I was going to spend 25 years in jail and never be in your childhood. And when you was adult, you didn't want to have nothing to do with me. You considered me to be a worthless ass nigga, but I didn't know no better. I was a child just like you were. I wonder if men fess up and humble themselves and start telling their story. Tell them how sorry I am for not being there. I wonder what it'd be like if brothers can go back to the sister and tell them, I know, baby, I failed you. I wasn't the man I was supposed to be. I didn't treat you right. I should have sold out all my love for you. I should have did the right thing, baby, but I failed. I know I can't go back and fix what happened yesterday, but I can start right here by telling you that I'm sorry. And if you ever need anything from me, you just call me and I'll be there. Wonder what it would be like. Wonder what it would be like when we start telling the truth about what's really down on the inside. Wonder what it would be like. Dang, King Rashard, I just took up all your time.
Man, I'm good. Hey, we letting it rip, man. That's what you do. Hey, I'm right there with you because you speaking for a lot of men right now in this moment.
Seriously, that's on my heart.
You know?
That's on my heart because you know what? If you go and you look at TikTok and you look at Instagram, and you look at these so-called IG models, and you look at these fans-only pages, and you look at what they got hitting the wall at 35, and you look at the mindset of sisters and brothers alike, you will understand one thing that they're lacking. They're lacking wisdom and instruction. They're not reading no Bible. So they can't come in contact with those scenarios that identify with their life. But they can come in contact with yours. You know why? Because every last one of them, whether it's the children, whether it's the IG models on Instagram, whether it's the brothers on YouTube, whether it's the Kevin Samuels and his followers, all of them can identify with you. You know why? Because they are our brothers and our sisters.
Right.
They are our nieces and our nephews.
Right.
They are our mothers and our fathers. They are our aunties and our uncles. And they can't identify. See?
Yes, sir.
I don't give nobody a chance to talk about me.
Right.
I don't get nobody a chance to talk about me.
Nobody, you know me, so I'll be like, well, whatever. You come show your ass up and talk about it.
See, the Bible say that that the righteous man, he judged of no man. You know why? Because he judged himself. He judged his own life to be sinful. You judge your own life. You judge your own shame. And nobody can say nothing to you about that. I'm telling you myself. You ain't got to worry about telling nobody you seen me. I'm coming up right next to you. Hey, give me a Jack Daniels and Coke. Hey, give me a double shot of Hennessy. If that's what I want to do at that time. If that's what... See, you ain't going to go and tell nobody on me. I'm going to tell you on myself. It's my life. I'm not no perfect man. Some areas I've overcome in, I ain't cheated on my wife for 20 years. That's an accomplishment. You see? That's only one area. That's only one area. I've still done some of them other things that I've been talking about. But I'm still fighting. Sometimes they beat me. Sometimes I beat them. You know?
Right. But that's the perfect balance. So that's the balance in it all.
What's going down?
But that's what it is, man. So you know, that's what it is, man. So brothers and sisters, I really hope that that y'all got something out of this video right here. It's poured out straight from the heart. It's poured out straight from the heart, and that's my life. That's my life. But I know one thing. Out of all them things that I just came through there, I'm sure that everybody on this page can identify with one of them. Some people can identify with a multiplicity of them. And I might have one or two brothers and sisters on there that say, you reading my mail because I can identify with all of them. I've been right there with you. You know what I'm saying? So all praises.
But that's what it's all about, right?
All praises. And Wendy, if you on here, that was a good post that they put on there that Wendy in yesterday. That was real good, and I know that this video kind of lined up right with what it was saying. If you still on here, you just be encouraged and keep on being the best you that you know how to be. And I tell that for all the rest of the brothers and sisters on there. Only thing you can do is you can be the best you that you can be. But don't go into no place to where you lose sight of what's happening in this world that we are living in. Because
it's going down.
Yeah, shouts out to you, Elder Maniel. It's on the line.
Tell everyone I said shalom.
Yes, sir. Peace and blessings.
Yep. So, you be the best you that you know how to be. And it's always, I always feel good when I see you on here. And, you know, even contrary to many brothers and sisters that first had the opportunity to see me in light of the word, I don't, you know, I know I'm realistic, and I know what the scriptures say, and the Bible make it clear that prophet is without honor in his own home, you know. And so we're not literally saying that we know prophet. There are no new prophets, but we prophesy. We become prophets because we prophesy according to the written word of God. And so it's generally the people that you associated with will be the last people that's receptive of what you have to say when it comes to God. Because when you start talking about God, they want to equate you with perfection or some foolishness. So the prophet, he had no honor. He had absolutely no honor in his own homeland by the people that he's associated with. And anytime we see one or two brothers and sisters that walk with us like that, it's a beautiful thing, you know. It's a beautiful thing. So that encourages me every time I see you show up. So brothers and sisters, you know, and y'all already know that should y'all need anything, you find yourself between a rock and a hard place, you need to talk, you know what I mean? You need a listening ear, that you know that whatever it is that's going to be said, it's not going no farther. If you're struggling with some stuff, you don't feel like you got nobody in your life that you can talk to about it, or you just want to seek some godly counsel or some word, y'all know that I do the best I can to make myself available on that note. And so, and with that, I also want to thank all of the brothers and sisters over the years that have been in my corner. And there's an area that I had not even discussed yet. And that was the area of being broken from a financial standpoint. That was horrible. It was horrible. And I watched brothers and sisters literally pick me up and carry me. They picked me up, not only they picked me up and carried me from place to place, but they carried me to the light company and to the gas company and to the water company. They carried me to the grocery store. They carried me to the gas station. The brothers and sisters that picked me up and carried me and helped me through one of the worst times of me and Sweetie Pie's life when we was down on the ground with no money. And I'm forever going to be grateful for that as well. So with that being said, like I say, peace and blessings. This is indeed a great day to be alive. This is a day that the Most High Heavenly Father have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it no matter what. I pray for you before we end this video, that the Most High will bless you, that He make His face to shine upon you. Our prayer is that the Most High will grant us a spirit of humility and a spirit of love and a spirit of kindness, a spirit of wisdom, a spirit of counsel. Our prayer is that the Most High will help us and empower us to be overcomers, that He will keep us conscious according to the conviction of His Spirit of the areas that He means for us to be overcomers in, and that He will keep us also conscious by the conviction of the Spirit of those areas that He has strategically placed in our lives to cause us to come to a place of humility and make us better. And with that being said, we ask these now blessings in the name of Holy and Righteous Son. Hallelujah.
So be it.